Amidst various situation reports on the 2024 Edo State Gubernatorial election, the ElectHER Election Hub, in partnership with the Gender Election Watch, have released critical analysis revealing statistics of women participation in the election, even down to the ad hoc staffs recruited.
My name is Amina Yahya. I'm the program manager for elections at ElectHER. Welcome to our situation room. This is the situation room of the gender component of the EUSDGN project, and is hosted by ElectHER and Nigerian Women Trust Fund. So I'll just take us quickly through the room just to see what we have. Here we have the data on the candidates. We have 17 political parties, and for those 17 political parties, 16 male are running for governorship position and 1 female running for governorship position. There are also 5 females that are running for the deputy governorship position. This is the sole female candidate that is running for the governorship position, so we did a bit of profiling on her. As I said in the beginning, our situation room is a bit more gender focused as compared to other situation rooms that we find. So we try to amplify most of the issues around female candidacy, and that's how you'll see as we go around the room the information that we have. So here we have a female candidacy snapshot looking at the historical data from 2016 to 2020 and then to 2014. You'd see that in 2016 we had 19 candidates that were running for the governorship position and only 1 female. In 2020, there were 14, 12 were male and 2 were female. And then in 2024, there's 17, 16 were male and 1 female. But if you come down here to see the deputy candidateship snapshot for women, you see that in 2016, we had 8 women that were running for deputy governor. In 2020, we had 7, and in 2024, we had 5. So even from here, you can begin to see the steady decline from 8 to 7, and then consequently, we had 5 here. So that's on the deputy governorship position. What we've tried to do here is to make our storytelling a little bit more interesting. So we try to look at it back from history, starting from the 15th century. So we're showing the different queens who have played very vital roles in terms of building the Benin Kingdom. From some of them that fought in wars, supported the king or supported their husbands to hold very important positions. And we have quite a number of queens here: Queen Idaya, Queen Eden, Princess Edelayo, and then we have Prince Imagugu. So, but you see that after the colonial period, this is all pre-colonial period, but from here, it's talking about the post-colonial period, and that's from the time that the return of democracy to Nigeria. And that's when we had the first female political appointment in Edo State. But despite that, the level of representation was still low. So what we're trying to do here is to ask a question: if we have this very rich, historical background of very strong women that have supported in building an old and important kingdom like the Benin Empire, then why do we have this decline going from post-independent period? So the decline in representation. So we're trying to ask what could be the reasons for this decline that we have. So in as much as we're projecting data, we're also trying as much as possible to make sure that it is interactive and it is interesting and it's something that people can easily follow as we are discussing very important and topical issues. Here, what we have done is agenda analysis of the key candidates and their campaign promises, including the sole female candidates. Like I mentioned at the beginning, our situation room is more of gender focused because there is still the issue of access to gender disaggregated data on different electoral issues. So aside the major leading parties, arguably, as you would see, we also included the sole female candidate that is running for governorship position. And from our analysis, there was strong emphasis on gender in her campaign promises, also level of strong emphasis on gender in the second candidate's campaign promises, some level of gender inclusivity in the third candidate's campaign promises. But for the fourth candidate, we couldn't really get much in terms of doing that analysis. And then here, it's just the general data for this year. So this is a map of Edo State. This is the total number of registered voters as released by INEC. This is the total number for males and the percentage. This is the total number for females as well as the percentage. And we also have the age distribution. We have youth from between 18 to 35 constituting 37.40%, which is the highest demography. And then we have middle-aged persons constituting 34.80%. We have the elderly, 20.17%. And then senior citizens from 70 years and above constituting 7.64%. If we come along, like I said, our situation is a collaboration between two organizations, so ElectHER as well as Nigerian Women Trust Fund. Where is the, okay. Sorry, I'm taking you round and round. I'm trying to look for the, okay, just we have an understanding of this, the two organizations. So what we have here is again another breakdown of the historical data. In 2016, there was no disaggregation of the data. What we just had is a lump sum of the total number of registered voters. And I think as a result of continuous advocacy and communications that have been happening around the need for disaggregated data, we saw that improvement in the 2020 data that we have. We have male and we have female, which we didn't have before in 2016. And then in 2014, we also have that breakdown, and that has continued consequently. Another thing that I would like to show you is our dashboard. As I mentioned, we have quite a number of observers on the field who are collecting. Here is a snapshot of the data that we're getting from the field. As I mentioned before, we have quite a number of observers that have been deployed in the field, and they are using our app analytics to collect information from the different polling units. Like I mentioned, ours is a bit more gender sensitive, so even in terms of the questions that they are filling in on the field, we have questions that are related to level of access, inclusivity, and even around the questions about officials that are in the field, the ad hoc staff. We also want to try to know like how many of those ad hoc staff are women. In terms of the political party agents, how many of them are women, just so that we have a bit of a balance in terms of the report that we are providing, and we're able to provide like a gender-centric analysis to the information that we are collecting. So this is not all the questions that you see on the board. This is just a snapshot of some of them. And these ones are talking about the time that the accreditation and voting started. So the color codes have been used to differentiate them. Places where voting and accreditation started at 8:30, you see those in blue. Like I said, this is just a snapshot of some of the information that they are collecting. So even in terms of the officials as well, we also try to get information around how many of the polling staff are women, the security agents as well, how many women are in the different polling units. What we want to try and do is at the end of the day provide like a holistic overview of the whole electoral process from beginning to the end. Our observers are in all the local government, not all the polling units because there are a lot of them, but we try to cover all the local governments. And because we are sampling, we also employ the use of other tools. We're also using listening tools. We're conducting FGDs. We'll also do some key informant interviews with some stakeholders as well as people in different areas, just so that our report is able to provide a holistic approach to the voting process. So as the day goes by and as they are filling the forms using the app and we're getting more information, these charts will continue to evolve, and then consequently we'll do like a holistic analysis of all the information that we have gotten so far.
The situation reports coming from this situation room has revealed the huge gap between the male participation and female participation, with the women very few in representation. This goes a long way to show the need for more women in frontline positions. What are your thoughts on this? Tell us in the comments. Stay tuned for more updates from The Guardian TV.